Hello and welcome back. Okay, I want to just quickly talk about, this is like maybe unrelated, but not necessarily. Justin Bieber, Hailey Bieber, the Vogue thing. If you haven't seen it, he posted something kind of saying like he had told his wife that she would never be on a Vogue cover and, never gonna happen for you, whatever. And he like publicly said that he was wrong and apologizing for it, and just admitting that he had told her when he was really upset or felt disrespected that she was never gonna be shit, basically. And now she's on the Vogue cover. Now, I'm not huge I'm not a big follower of them. I just saw it when it got blown up. So I don't know all the ins and outs, but that really stood out to me as somebody who has been in relationships like that before, who has chosen relationships that were really not it and really did tear up my self-confidence and really did make me feel like crap a lot of the time. And that really ties into my choice to be a single mom by choice and what's kind of led me down my path. So I thought I really wanted to just address it quickly. Now, this poster in the back, I don't know if you're really going to be able to see it. A friend of mine actually made that for me many years ago because growing up, my biggest dream was to be an actress. Some of you know this, some of you don't. I've done theater classes and done little plays, and I worked on local projects. I've even worked with Kevin Hart. I didn't make the final cut, but some of you also know that, okay? But yeah, it was always my dream. It's not really something that I'm putting time and energy into that much anymore. I have so many other things that I'm working on, so it's kind of fallen to the wayside. I do little projects and local stuff here and there, but all that to say that I've been in relationships before where I would say like, this is my dream and I want to do this and I want to do big things. And I've always been the kid that like wanted more in my life. Like I came from a small little place and, the likelihood of me accomplishing something, I guess, was like unlikely, just statistically, I guess. But that never really deterred me. Like I knew that I was meant to have a voice in some way, and there was something just in me. And I know so many of us have that, okay? But I was constantly told like, never gonna happen, like never gonna happen. I was a bit of like a chubbier kid growing up. I've always kind of struggled with my weight back and forth. My teeth were always kind of jacked until I fixed them with Invisalign as an adult, just a few years ago, actually. But there was a lot of things stacked against me, but I never let that deter me. Like I just kept going for it and kept trying and kept falling and kept getting back up and yada yada. Anyways, again, all that to say, okay, being with somebody, okay, romantically, friendships, letting people into your tight circle that tell you that you ain't SHIT is the wrong move, okay? Now, I get a lot of people that come at me like, okay, well, you knew who he was when you chose your ex or your daughter's father or any guy that you ever dated before. Like you knew, like what's wrong with you? Your picker's the problem. Is something wrong with women like you and yada yada. And okay, it's very easy to blame the woman. I get it. For a lot of times, I blamed myself too. Okay, I am not completely without fault. Obviously, okay, I am self-aware enough to know that there was a lot of healing that needed to happen. There was a lot of looking in the mirror that had to happen. There was a lot of recognizing my own patterns that needed to happen and see like, why am I choosing people like this? Why am I allowing myself to be treated this way? Yada, yada. Sure. Okay. We've done a lot of work. I've been a single mom or single really for 9 years. Okay. So we've been doing a lot of work. We've been doing a lot of healing. 9 years is a long time, and I've been trying to pour into myself for the majority of that time, okay? But yeah, there's a lot of, well, Hailey knew how he was, and, women, when you pick a guy like that, you know what you're doing, and now, you guys are choosing to be choice moms because, your picker's broken and you have no options, is really gross way to look at it, because instead of holding abusers, narcissists, really just awful people accountable for the way that they treat the people that they're with, we're blaming, the victims. And I'm not calling myself a victim personally, okay? But in a lot of situations, it's like, well, you picked a bad guy, that's all your fault. And again, not without fault myself and made mistakes and so forth, but we need to also be holding men accountable that treat women like trash. Ergo Bieber situation, telling her she ain't ever gonna be nothing. Like, it's kind of gross. Like, why are we allowing this? Okay, yeah, he's publicly apologizing. Like, I'm using air quotes because it didn't really feel like it was like a backhanded apology with just manipulation roped in there, and it was gross. Like, that's just the only way I could put it. And then it's like, oh, well, you know, she was nothing before him, or yada yada. And you see more of those narratives, and it's like, the woman's on Vogue. Give her that. Again, I don't know her. I don't follow. I'm not like I don't know, right? I'm not team them or like anything at all. I'm just taking that story that I saw and talking about that, okay? Before we start freaking out, it's only about that situation, okay? That I think is gross and should not be tolerated anymore. Like, I have 2 kids. I have my daughter who's 10, I have my son who's 3, and I'm actively raising them with conversations that we have. Like, if somebody treats you like that, that's gross. It's unacceptable. And I am packing on the self-confidence. I let them fail. I let them fall flat on their face. And it's hard to do, but I let them figure things out. I tell them when they're wrong. I tell them, like, we have conversations about how, you know, when a friend acts like this, think about, you know, the effects of something like that, the long-term effects. And we talk about how when we accept how people treat us, we're accepting it. And when someone shows us who they are, it's up to us to believe them. And we do like sometimes to see the best in people. And we do like to, you know, hope for better. And, you know, when they tell us that, you know what, it was a one-time thing, I'm going to change and yada, yada. Words are one thing, actions are another, but we also get to decide. We get to decide. The individual gets to decide how we are treated. And if this person is not going to treat us that way, we get to decide how we, you know, react to that. Do we walk away? Do we like cut ties? Do we set a boundary? What are we doing? So we have conversations. Again, my daughter's 10, she's in school. There's, you know, it's the preteen thing. It's like middle school, technically. In Canada, we don't have it, right? Maybe not. Maybe grade 4 is still elementary or primary, however people say it. But we're getting to the end of the year. So then it's going to be, you know, grade 5, which is middle school, you know, mean girl stuff going on. And it's a little bit, you know, crappy, to be honest. And there's the, you know, look at her ugly shirt, and you know, she's, you know, fat, and she's this, and ew, like, he doesn't even want to be her boyfriend. And yeah, and it's like, you guys are 10. Like, it freaks me out. Like, I don't remember it being that crazy when we were 10. You know, maybe I'm wrong, correct me, but it's a lot. So we have a lot of opportunities to talk about these things, and telling friends to go scratch, and understanding that you're allowed to be like, hey, this isn't working for me, so no thank you. And not apologizing for that. Like, I grew up with parents who were also very unhealed, who, you know, byproducts of their own environment and their own upbringing too. It's what most of us are dealing with. And yeah, I was raised to kind of be seen and not heard. And when I had an opinion, when I had a voice, it was always inconvenient is how it felt. Like, no one cares what you have to say. You're the child, we're the adult, you know, and that's it. And that's how, again, the majority of us were raised. But what happens with that is that we learn that, hey, like, this is, I'm feeling kind of some kind of way about this, but you know, if I say something, they're gonna get mad, and you know, there might be consequences where I'm the bad person. You know, me having a boundary is incredibly inconvenient for the people around me. Me saying, hey, I really don't like that, is gonna really trigger the people around me that benefit from me just bending over, right? So again, I'm healing and, you know, simultaneously helping my children change those ways of being at the same time. And it's really hard, but yeah, all that really just to say that for Hailey Bieber, like, I feel for her, and I don't think that any woman should ever, 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 ever be in a situation like that. I mean, they have kids now, I think, so, you know, it kind of complicates things, but I just want to rope it into being a single mom by choice and standing firm in who you are, and not settling, not, just not giving up on who you are and not changing for something and not willing to stay with someone who's not it. Like, like this person doesn't treat me right, or together we bring out the worst in each other, or, the vibe is not like we're fighting every day, or this is so hard. Like, yes, relationships are hard and they're complicated and complex and yada, yada. And yes, you have to compromise and yada, yada. But if the majority of your relationship is a challenge, it's not it. Okay, it's not it. Like, we're sold this idea that, it takes work and you have to work at it and yada, yada. And yes, of course, there's lulls in relationships. Yes, of course, there's going to be difficulty in relationships. Absolutely. Of course, work relationships, friendships, relationships with your kids, your family, whatever. It's always going to have challenges. That's life. Okay, life without challenges, like, where do you grow? How do you evolve? How do you learn, right? So of course the challenges are part of the game, the part of the gig, right? Part of life. But if you're always challenged and you're having to compromise who you are, you're having to change yourself, you're having to give up on some of your values, there are things that are just not aligning, that are core, parts of who you are, fundamental parts of who you are just not being accepted, are just not in alignment, are just not working. It's not working. Okay. And if the only way the relationship, marriage, whatever is going to work is if you compromise who you are and you change who you are and what you believe in and all these things, and you silence your intuition and you don't let those red flags come up anymore because it's like, it's compromise, it's what you do. No, that was never how it's meant to be. It's not. Yes, we're sold on this idea that you have to work at it. Yeah, but within reason, okay? Within reason. And I get so heated when I talk about these things because as women and young girls, especially, we're sold this, you got to keep your husband happy or somebody else will. Make sure you keep his belly full, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, F you? I don't know. Like, I refuse to raise my children that way. It's disgusting. Like, my daughter, she better get good at mopping, or she better, whip up a good bolognese, or, her husband's gonna leave her. Like, what the F? Make sure she's good at shaving her legs, because no one wants prickly leg hairs. No husband's gonna want that. Like, what are we selling our children? Like, we were sold that, guys, okay? We were sold that nonsense. And the majority of us believed it because that's what they're telling us. That's the story we're being sold by the media, by our parents, by our families, by our friends, by everything we're listening to, ads, the commercials on TV. It's craziness, okay? So, you're allowed to have your dreams and they're not delulu, okay? You're allowed to go after whatever you want, okay? It's not delulu, it's not selfish, it's not terrible. You're a person who's valuable and has the right to have dreams and aspirations and to go after them unapologetically. Okay? You want to be on Vogue? I don't give a who you are that's listening right now. You want to get a Vogue cover? Go after it. Meet people, network, make it happen, put yourself out there. It's scary, but do it, okay? You never know. I don't care what you want. You want to be a mom and people are telling you, hey, you can't do it that way. Oh my God, you're so selfish. You're so terrible. Your kids are going to hate you, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But if the donor's a weirdo, you are allowed to follow your path. The reason why you feel called to this is because it's a path for you. Not everyone's gonna get it. Again, I was the little girl who wanted to be an actress, whose teeth grew in, not straight, they were really crooked. I struggled with my weight. I was a bit of a chubbier kid, like I said, and even my parents were like, girl, it's not gonna happen. Like, I grew up with the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen era, right? Spice Girls, and it was like Jessica Simpson, and then all these people, and I wanted to be an Olsen twin so bad, okay? That was like life goals. I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be a creative person like them. I was always into the arts. I was always performing for my family. I was always doing gymnastics and shows, and every time family was over, it was like, look at my show, look at my performance. And I'm so much not like that in a lot of ways anymore because it got taken out of me, because it was like, be realistic. be realistic. You know, that's not the way to do it. You know, when you grow older and you get married and you have a family, and when you're married and have a family and yada yada, and you have to be thinner and you have to be blonder and you need to be this and you have to fix your teeth and you have to, you know, all of the actresses and models are skinny because it was the 90s. Like everyone was like this, okay? That was in at that time. That's always changing. The trends are always changing. Now you're allowed to be a plus size model and actress. It's still hard, but now you're allowed, you know, air quotations, it's a little bit more acceptable. She's brave. She's so special. Look at her. My God, brave to wear a swimsuit when she's not a size 0. Crazy, okay? So again, all of this was coming at us, and that it does work with the whole choice mom thing being so not okay, because again, we were fed all of this BS, and a lot of us are still being fed a lot of this BS, but it's to keep you here. It's to keep you small. It's to keep you in this comfortable little box that keeps them comfortable because you're controlled. You're abiding by their little rules that they've created, right? The patriarchy and all that. We don't have to get too deep into that, but I know the majority of you get it. I know that with the comments and the DMs that I get from you, I know we're all like collectively like, ugh! It's been generations of this nonsense and we are over it. We are over it. Okay. I am not raising my kids to be this way, and I am no longer going to ever abide by these rules, and I'm going to speak loudly about how I feel about them and encourage you to do the same. You were put on this earth, whatever you believe in, okay, it doesn't really matter. You are living this life and we're put here, I believe, for a reason. And you've had these feelings in your heart and you're born at this time, okay? Things are changing, okay, collectively. For women especially, okay? Things are changing, and the reason you feel called to do something different is not for nothing, okay? And when I embarked on this journey early on, I didn't see the big picture. I didn't realize how important this choice is, and talking about it and knowing there are options out there. I didn't realize. I was just like, hey, I want another kid. I don't want to get married. I don't really want to keep dating guys that I'm not aligned with. I already have a kid. I already have like a family of my own, me and my daughter, and we're cool. Like, I love being a mom. I love being her mom. I just, you know, throw a couple more kids in there and we're good. That's my family. And I felt that. Doesn't mean I wasn't scared. It didn't mean that I wasn't aware of how I was breaking the rules and going against the grain and going against the norm and, you know, making some people uncomfortable. I don't care. But yeah, at that time it was scary. But now I'm like, what? Why are we apologizing for this? Like, why aren't we all doing this? Anyone who feels called to do it, why are we not? Seriously, why are we not going for Vogue covers? Why are we not going for whatever it is that we want unapologetically, not looking to our husbands, our friends, our boyfriends, the guy we're dating, our coworker, our mom? Why are we looking to these people for their validation, for their approval, for their like, okay, you can do that, honey. Yeah, sure, you're worthy of that. I know I'm worthy of it. I know that I'm capable of it. Why am I asking you, right? Like, I know me. I know what's on my heart. I'm not asking anybody any permission anymore, and neither should you. Now, this wasn't exactly the usual content that we talk about here, but it's been heavy on me, and it's something that I think that I just had to address and hopefully fire up at least one person to be like, hey, what the it's true what she's talking about. Like, this is craziness that's been going on for a long time, and it's all intertwined, it's all interconnected, and we're over it, and we're no longer falling in line. Okay, thank you. But yes, that's it for this week. We'll come back with more Choice Mom regular type of content next week. I have some really cool projects that I'm working on. I know you guys are gonna like it. We're talking a webinar, we're talking maybe an ebook. There's some really cool stuff coming out, and I've collaborated with somebody that, you know, that I really love, a brand that's really, really close to my heart. And yeah, so that's going to be coming out soon. Keep your eyes peeled. It's going to be fun. And yeah, that's it for this week. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you have questions, drop them below. And I'm really curious to see what your take is on the Bieber situation, or just couples in general that are not supportive of one another and kind of crap on each other. And, you know, the whole stay together for the kids like narrative. What is your take on that? Let's kindly, respectfully have a conversation in the comments. And yeah, until next week, have a great week. Bye.